complexity of India, you will generate in them the same element, same enthusiasm that you have for your own country. Or even if it's not your country, for your origins, for your roots. And so I thank you, sir, for having organized this, Gurinderji, and Mrs. Harbhajan Singh for having taken the dream of Harbhajan Singh forward in this fashion. And I thank you for being here for this event, because it's very important to keep connecting with each other again and again. It's only when there is an element of physical proximity that you start understanding each other. If you look at the Indian economy, it's a very complex economy. 55% of our GDP is contributed by the service sector, which employs only 34% of the workforce. 54% of the workforce is employed by agriculture, which only contributes 17% of the GDP. 54%. Which means that the maximum number of people living in rural areas in agriculture is contributing to least to the economy of this country. And a small percentage of people who are in the service sector are contributing the largest share to the GDP of this country. What that means is that that's not a right equation to have. It's people who must contribute ultimately to economic growth. And if a large section of the people are contributing only 17% to economic growth, which means that we need really to do something about it. So when we look at our national policies, it is in that context. How do we reach the last man, the remotest man, the poorest man, the man who needs or the woman who needs the maximum, who is entitled to the maximum benefit, whose life has to be improved. We have to touch that person who has no water, no electricity, no school, no health service, no health insurance, no house, no roof over their head, 6 people living in one small hutment. When we in India, in the context of these problems, look at our economy, it's those people who are priority for us. Because unless the foundation of a building is strong, the superstructure can never be strong. And if the foundation of India with 700, 800 million people consists of poor people who have no means of livelihood, how can India ever be strong? That's the focus. And I dare say, and I implore you, that your contributions must too focus on that ordinary man who doesn't have a dream, or if he has a dream, he can never fulfill it. It is his condition that we have to empathize with and to improve. And we must also understand that India is going through a process of enormous change, enormous change. Democracy is evolving. Institutions are evolving. Systems of transparency are sought to be put in place. And in that transition, you too have a very important role to play. And that can only happen if you, both in mind and in terms of your investment, have a stake in India. The fact that you are persons of Indian origin, you already have a stake in India. But I request you to be proactive and have a dream for us, just as we have a dream for our own people. Thank you very much, Anjali.
Thank you very much indeed. Honourable Chief Guest there, Honourable Mr. Kapil Sibal, giving his inaugural address on the occasion of the 31st International Congress of Non-Resident Indians. Thank you very much, sir. I now have the privilege in requesting Major Dalbir Singh, Secretary of the AICC, to kindly address the distinguished audience, please. Let's give a warm round of applause as Mr. Kapil Sibal also leaves. He has to leave. He's been wanting to leave for quite some time. Thank you very much, sir, for being here with us and for sparing your time. Let's give him a warm round of applause as he leaves the stage. Major Dalbir Singh, ladies and gentlemen, Secretary of the AICC, will now address the distinguished audience.
Honorable Justice Kattu, Honorable Bhisham Narayan ji, my friend Mr. Ansari, Tom Wadegan. Actually, after the Chief Guest has spoken and after Justice Kattu has spoken so deliberately in all issues relating to NRI, there is very little left to speak. Well, all I can say that you people have done us proud. We are very, very proud of what you have achieved over the years. Many of you have left at various stages in history, in difficult times, very, very difficult circumstances, and you build your own lives, your own careers, and whether you were doctors, engineers, scientists, as entrepreneurs, you've done incredibly well. And you've also been a very, very important integral part of India's growth story. We always banked on your contribution and your support. And particularly our current government, the UPA government, under dynamic leadership of Dr. Manmohan Singh and Madam Gandhi, we are the first ones to set up a separate ministry for the overseas affairs. And in the last few years, some important key initiatives that our government has taken, particularly for those NRIs who are in the Gulf region. One is we set up Indian Workers Resource Center, with particularly for those NRIs who are working there. We have a large amount of labor force which goes to Gulf, and for those people in distress, we set up a distress home, a helpline center. Then also we also have in addition to that, India Community Welfare Fund, which was set up a year ago, and it functions under the heads-on missions in various countries. In addition to that, some more initiatives that the government has taken, that we have had now bilateral social security agreements with at least a dozen countries, particularly those countries where there is significant population of NRIs, and including Germany, because we also realize that with globalization on, there will be enormous migration of professionals from India, and it will continue to grow considerably in the years to come. And to safeguard their interest, we ended up having these bilateral agreements. And some time back, we also started Overseas Citizenship India Drive, and as a result of that, in a short span of time, we have today almost close to 1 million citizens, overseas Indians, who've been given identity cards, and also responding to a lot of requests over the years from overseas Indian community about your right to vote and also to become stakeholder in our electioneering process. It has finally now come through, and the law has been enacted, notification has been issued for registration of people under Representation of People Act, and I'm glad that finally the overseas Indian will also have the right to vote and participate in India's election process. It's a very major breakthrough, and this is again one of those significant milestones I think which the UPA government has achieved. And well, our country also is going through difficult times. Ever since this global meltdown started a few years ago, the economy slowed down everywhere. In the US, in the region of maybe 2.5%. In many parts of Europe, it is maybe 3%, 3.5%. We were a little fortunate because we had very strong foundation, very strong banking system, our financial system, and we had a very robust constitutional processes which are in position. As a virtue of that, we were not that severely affected. And since 2004, we have consistently grown at the growth rate of close to 7.5 to 8%. And despite very gloomy forecast, I know it's very difficult to detach oneself and totally insulate oneself from what is happening around the world, because we live in a very globalized world, and there are strong interdependencies of economic processes. Despite that, our forecast in the next few years also in the region of about 8 to 9%, and which is phenomenal. You would agree, and like Mr. Kapil Sibal mentioned to you, it is very largely because our economy is still driven by our own saving and by our own domestic consumer needs. And India has amongst probably the highest savings rate in the world, anything close to 35 to 36%. It is because of that strong saving that we are able to pull through during such difficult times. But still, there are many shortfalls in terms of maybe governance, in terms of our education sector, in health, in transportation, physical infrastructure, social infrastructure, and considering that in the last 1 year we have received close to $50 billion of remittances from the NRI community, I'm sure we still need funds, we still need money, and you can play pivotal role in building modern India. And like the Honorable Minister said, that it is not just enough that people bring in money for reasons of investment, bring in money only as a capital for business, but also bring in money for transforming the lives of Indians, the lives of ordinary Indians, because like he said, there are nearly 700 to 800 million people who still live on less than $2 a day. And I think the recent conference that we had, Pravasi Bharatiya conference in Jaipur, I think the theme was on inclusive growth, because you also would like to play a role in building India which is truly inclusive, where every individual is empowered. So, not that I'm trying to appeal to anybody's corporate social responsibility here, but as fellow Indians, like you would also like to get connected back to the roots, develop your bonds with your own country and your heritage. I think your contribution in building an inclusive India is something that India will always appreciate. And number of initiatives have been taken in the last 1 year, and in years to come, I think more and more deliberations are going to take place as to how we both can jointly make endeavor, particularly in terms of bringing our younger generations of overseas Indians, how they can connect to India, what form of engagement we can build and promote, and how various ideas can be debated by which we can expand this engagement. I mean, all these are the kind of questions on which a lot of debate can go on, but it has to go on collectively between you and us from time to time. And I'm very happy that this attempt has been made to organize this conference. I would like to thank the entire organization for having done a wonderful job of this and also having given me an opportunity to speak here. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you very much, sir, for your address. Ladies and gentlemen, I now request Mr. Tom Vadakam, Secretary of the AICC, to kindly address our distinguished guests, please.
Justice Kajuji, His Excellency Bhisham Narayan Singh Ji, Gurinder Singh Ji, Dalbir Singh Ji, Shakil Ji Ansari, and other members of on the dais, NRI dignitaries and friends. I was not aware that Justice Kaju and Kapil Sibal Ji, who are one of the topmost speakers in this country, are going to present this case. There's not much of defense I can put up against or for our diplomats abroad, nor the justification that Kapil Ji brought about. But let me put one thing in their favor. Those selected into the Indian Foreign Service are essentially trained for their job. There are crooks everywhere, I accept it. But let us remember, there are many people who serve this country to the best possible terms. The recent initiative of diplomats in China, who I would like to remind Justice Kaju were victims of the judicial system in China, which put these Gujarati diamond merchants in jail for being competitors in trade against certain locals. The embassy was fighting a major battle. The government of India did stand up and did help them. So did the embassy. One particular diplomat even fainted in a courtroom drama that ensured. So this is both sides of the picture. But much more can be done, yes. Justice G, I accept it. That much more can be done and it is desirable, but at the same time, it's easy to paint the canvas black, but there are shades of grey and other colors which need and which is part of the rainbow. That is the story of India. There was mention here twice that the statistics that was given here was $2 for an Indian per day. Let me correct it. At the current rate of dollar rate, it is $1 and not $2. This is India. There is also this World Bank statistics about India's poverty level. I did discuss it with many of these experts who come to India. Dish out statistics, attend seminars, meetings nationally, internationally, and like Kapil Sibbalji said, indulge in what is India bashing. India, as you are all aware, there is poverty, but there is a sense of satisfaction. There is a sense of pride, and there is a sense of being content with what we have, which is missing. We have aspirations, we aspire for it, but the crux of it is these aspirations are within the rule of the law. That is why will have gun, will travel kind of a phenomenon doesn't work in India. That may work in China, that may work elsewhere, but India, as Justice Kaju, who's been the spokesman for the judicial system, will verify if there's something that has stood us in good or bad times is the judicial system. We are proud of it, and I'm proud that we have amongst us a justice who stood up and spoken his views both on the media and currently on the diplomats serving abroad. I'm directly connected with the media, so I've been honestly watching every statement made by Justice, especially because I'm the secretary of the media department of the Congress Party, and we have taken a lot of bashing from the media. And for us, I wouldn't call him a savior, but he's definitely voiced an opinion of India that has seen a lot of bashing. We are called corrupt by the media. We are called incompetent by the media. What have we done? We gave this country RTI. We are trying to draft a Lokpal bill which is acceptable to one part of the country or every part of the country. We are doing it. But still we are called corrupt. There has to be a time and place for everything. But this is not happening. Just because you have a channel, you can go right ahead and condemn us. For what? What have we done? We have tried to do level best for this country. But still, there has to be some means of telling us, okay, please carry on. But no, you have a newspaper, you have a television channel, and there's a whole lot of people who have interest in it. And what do? They don't let this country move further. Parliament sessions are held. How much of discussion happens in there? There's walkouts. Nothing happens. Why? Because the system has been paralyzed. I am proud of the fact that we have Justice Kaju speaking out his view and telling the media for once, give us a chance, give us an opportunity. This is not the forum for speaking all this, but I take this occasion to air my views on the matter. I am happy that all of you who have come a long way from different parts of the globe would contribute to bring this country into the proper place it deserves to be in. We are a proud people. We may earn $1 per day, but we are proud of the fact we are Indians. We will do it and show it. And I am proud that this group will go and spread out the message. Let's do it together. Thank you. Jai Hind.
Thank you very much indeed, Mr. Tom Vadakam there, the Secretary of the AICC, kindly addressing us. I now request Mr. Ish Handa. He is the Vice President of the NRI Welfare Society of India, based in Botswana, to kindly address our distinguished guests, please.
All the speakers who have spoken before me, they have spoken so powerfully, so it's very difficult to follow their footsteps, but I'll try my best. All the distinguished guests, I'll cut short. Sitting on the main table, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, and fellow NRIs. It is indeed a great honor for me to address this august audience of personalities who have done India proud by excelling in their chosen field in distant lands. They are the very people who, whilst pursuing their respective aspirations in an alien land, have contributed immensely to the development of their adopted nation, and also contributed to the development of India and its people. There is an old saying, a rose by another name would smell as sweet. I think that applies to Indians abroad, whether they are NRIs, PIOs, or OCIs. Second to China, India has the largest diaspora in the world. They numbered 25 million in the UNDP's report of 2010. That number is now estimated to be 30 million. That means we have 30 million opportunities to generate that global partnership. Of course, not every Indian abroad is someone who can provide business opportunities, but they can, by their patriotism, enhance our image abroad and thus make others take an interest in and possibly invest in India. What is patriotism? Well, if you attend an international cricket match, you will get some idea of the loyalty India engenders. It is something indescribable. That feeling of love we have for our own land and our own people. Our challenge at this conference is to turn that loyalty, that love, into something that will bring tangible results for India and for Indians everywhere. It is worth remembering that India's accelerated economic growth today would not have been possible you see, without the immense contribution from Indians overseas in the form of financial inflows and investments in resources, technology, and know-how. In one of the addresses at the 8th Pravasi Bharatiya Divas, our Prime Minister, Dr. Manmohan Singh, sought the active involvement of the overseas Indian community in addressing the key constraints in the areas of infrastructure, agriculture, health, and education. He also mentioned the need to connect that the second generation of overseas Indians with their ancestral heritage and involve them actively in India's march forward. He also mentioned that India is a slow-moving elephant, but with each step it leaves behind a deep imprint. It is a characteristic of the vibrant democracy which accommodates and carries enormous diversity of opinions and interests together in its march towards national development. It is a vibrant democracy which makes every Indian proud. At the moment, there can be barriers of bureaucracy in the way of Indians abroad who want to take part in this development. Here at the NRI Welfare Society, we are committed to ending such a bureaucracy through our close links with state agencies and with the Government of India. The Ministry of Overseas Indian Affairs and the NRI Welfare Society is a vital link towards achieving better communications with our diaspora. It is worth noting that the astute financial policies of the Government of India has helped steady the Indian economy and weather the global economic and financial crisis and recessionary influences faced by most developed and developing economies over the last few years. Apart from textile, IT, education, tourism is also one of our biggest industries, and we should work hard at protecting it. We cannot afford to make the mistakes other countries have made through overdevelopment. We should also ensure that we diversify and use it as an exciting base for more business conferences where delegates can avail of both our wonderful technology and our tourist attractions. During this march to development, India needs to make sure that its national development is achieved in an environmentally sustainable manner. Therefore, we must use this conference to make friends, exchange views, promote understanding and positive thinking. We are people who share a vision of better India, and what better basis for friendship than that. I would like you to consider this conference to be a place where there is a wall at which you throw all your ideas and suggestions like mud. Some will undoubtedly stick and we will all benefit. Therefore, the work of the NRI's Welfare Society is critical to the development of the global partnership. We are the conduit through which development will happen, progress will be made. It is worth remembering that the dreams are goals, but with deadlines. Each one of us has our own individual dream. Unless we are prepared to work hard, to use our imagination and to do something positive, nothing will be achieved. This conference is such a deadline. Because of it, we hope to move another step forward in developing our global partnerships. Thomas Jefferson, the 5th American president, once said that he liked the dreams of the future better than the history of the past. Like him, we too look to the future. Our dream for India is that it achieves its full magnificent potential. I myself come from Botswana, a country which, like India, has a very vibrant democracy and a follow market-driven economic policies. Many international brands have established their presence in Botswana, including well-known Indian brands like Tata, Mahindra, banks like Bank of Baroda, State Bank of India. Both countries have a long history of economic and political interaction. The government of Botswana welcomes global investment and actively supports such endeavors with all necessary vigor and enthusiasm. Botswana has been a beacon of economic success in sub-Saharan Africa. a country which many others wish to emulate, many nationalities, many races, many colors, many creeds live in harmony and work together for national development. Today, we are, if you like, on the same team. You can use your ideas and your investments while we use our influence with the government and our communication skills to reach out to those who have left our country. Individually, we can make only small changes, but together we can actually make a huge impact. I would like to conclude by calling upon all Indians, whether in India or overseas, to be guided by India's culture and spiritual heritage and guiding principles set by the country's illustrious forefathers like Mahatma Gandhi, Nehru, Tagore, and many others. Remember, where we love is home, home that our feet may leave, but never our hearts. Jai Hind. Thank you very much.
As a member of the National Commission for Backward Classes, he will now propose a vote of thanks.
आदरणीय भीष्म नारायण सिंह जी, आदरणीय जस्टिस मार्कंडे काजू साहब, आदरणीय हांडा साहब, हमारे दोस्त आदरणीय भाई टॉम वाडेकम साहब, दलबीर सिंह जी और इस अजीम शान जलसे को सजाने और संवारने वाले हमारे भाई गुरेंद्र सिंह जी, दीपक सिंह जी और हमारे सामने बैठी मिसेस हरभजन सिंह जी, और पूरी दुनिया से आज यहाँ मौजूद हिंदुस्तान के वो चांद और सितारे जिसकी रोशनी आज हिंदुस्तान की इस अशोका होटल में जगमगा रही है, जिससे रोशन हो रहा है। सारे लोगों ने अंग्रेजी में, चूंकि हो सकता था इंटरनेशनल लैंग्वेज और आपके साथ ज्यादा रिश्ता बनाने के लिए अंग्रेजी में बातें की। मैं समझता हूं कि आप हिंदी समझें, हिंदी पढ़ा हो या ना पढ़ा हो, लेकिन हम दिल से आपको हिंदी की आवाज और उर्दू की आवाज आपके दिल को छुएगी, और हम समझते हैं कि वो शायद लैंग्वेज ऐसी है जो हिंदुस्तान की लैंग्वेज है, जो आप सबको आवाज के साथ ही उसके मतलब तक पहुंचा देगी। इसलिए हम अपनी बात उर्दू में कह रहे हैं, हिंदी में कह रहे हैं, जो हमारी राष्ट्रीय भाषा है। हिंदुस्तान इतना प्यारा मुल्क है कि हम सब कहते हैं, चाहे वो हिंदुस्तान में हो, चाहे वो हिंदुस्तान के बाहर हो, चाहे वो स्पेस में गया हो राकेश शर्मा, सभी कहते हैं कि सारे जहां से अच्छा हिंदुस्तान हमारा, हम बुलबुले हैं इसके, ये गुलसिता हमारा। तो आज इस हसीन हिंदुस्तान के चांद और सितारे आप सब जो रोशनी फैला रहे हैं पूरी दुनिया में, हो सकता है कि कुछ तो अभी गए हों और कुछ लोगों के कई जनरेशन वहां गए हों पहले। कुछ लोग हो सकता है कि अब अपने साइंस और टेक्नोलॉजी की तालीम हिंदुस्तान में हासिल करने के लिए अपने रोजगार की तलाश में बाहर गए, और हो सकता है कुछ लोग बहुत पहले अपनी गरीबी को मिटाने के लिए हिंदुस्तान से बाहर गए थे। और आज खुशी इस बात की है कि जब आप देख रहे होंगे हिंदुस्तान वापस आते हुए, तो किसी भी हालत में हमारे बहुत सारे मुअज़्ज़ज़ रहनुमाओं ने अपनी तकरीर की। हमारे भीष्म नारायण सिंह जी ने कहा, अभी कपिल सिब्बल जी हमारे मिनिस्टर साहब थे, उन्होंने कहा, और जस्टिस काजू साहब ने तो एक जस्टिस की हैसियत से सरकार को निर्देश देने की स्टाइल में कहा। सारी बातें आपने सुनी, लेकिन हम आपको ये बताना चाहते हैं कि हिंदुस्तान में अगर गरीबी थी, अगर हिंदुस्तान में तालीम की कमी थी, अगर हिंदुस्तान में अपने लोगों को हम रोटी और रोजी देने में नाकामयाब थे, इसलिए रोटी की तलाश में अगर आप गए तो हिंदुस्तान की वो काबिलियत थी कि आज जाइए तो आज बात आती है, आप जैसे लोगों ने कहा ब्रिटेन में कहा इलेक्शन जीत लिया है, बड़े ओहदों पर कायम हो गए, मॉरिशस के प्रेसिडेंट बन गए, और अभी बात हमारे बुजुर्ग कह रहे थे कि हाँ नवीन राम जी का क्यों, हाँ तो आपके पास वो हिंदुस्तान की ताकत थी, आपकी वो मेहनत और जुनून था कि आप कहीं भी गए तो उस जुनून से आपने हासिल कर लिया, और वो हासिल कर लिया। आज हिंदुस्तान तरक्की कर रहा है, ये नहीं कह सकते कि हम तरक्की नहीं कर रहे हैं, बहुत तेज रफ्तारी से तरक्की कर रहे हैं। और इसके साथ ही इतना बड़ा देश है, मुल्क में जनसंख्या की एक बहुत बड़ी समस्या है। कपिल सिब्बल जी ठीक कह रहे थे कि हम इंतजाम करते हैं तालीम का, अगर 45 करोड़ लोगों के लिए आबादी बढ़ के 100 करोड़ और 100 करोड़ के इंतजाम करते हैं तो 120 करोड़ की आबादी हो गई हमारी। तो हमको तो अपने इंतजाम एजुकेशन के लिए, तालीम के लिए और इसके साथ ही अपनी तरक्की के लिए करना है। लेकिन हिंदुस्तान की पिछली सरकार ने, हम मुबारकबाद देना चाहते हैं मनमोहन सिंह जी को कि मनमोहन सिंह जी देश के प्राइम मिनिस्टर हुए ऐसे वक्त में जब पूरी दुनिया में मंदी का दौर था, इकोनॉमिक सेटबैक थी, लेकिन हिंदुस्तान में वो इकोनॉमिक सेटबैक का असर जो जिस स्पीड में होना चाहिए था नहीं होने दिया, ये उनकी काबिलियत का सबूत था। और हम मुबारकबाद देना चाहते हैं यूपीए चेयरपर्सन सोनिया गांधी जी को कि सोनिया गांधी जी ने जिस तरह से इस मुल्क के निजाम में कांग्रेस पार्टी का योगदान और एक पॉलिसी के तहत मनमोहन सिंह जी को एक फ्री हैंड दिया कि वो इस देश की आर्थिक व्यवस्था को सुधार कर सके, तो उसके लिए हम मुबारकबाद आज देते हैं कि नौजवान राहुल गांधी आज एक नए विजन के साथ जो 21वीं सदी का सपना देखा था, राजीव गांधी ने उस विजन को आज पूरा करने के लिए पूरे हिंदुस्तान के चक्कर लगा रहा है और नौजवानों की शक्ति उसके साथ है। तो मैं आपसे निवेदन करना चाहता हूं, इस मौके पर बहुत सारी बातें आपने सुनी, मैं सिर्फ ये कहना चाहता हूं कि हिंदुस्तान करवट बदल रहा है, उठ के अब बज़्मे जहां का एक नया अंदाज है और मशरिक़ व मग़रिब में तेरे दौर का आगाज है। हिंदुस्तान का दौर शुरुआत होने वाला है, दुनिया की एक बड़ी शक्तिशाली ये देश बनने के क्रम में है और आपके लिए फख्र की बात है कि उस धरती से आप जुड़े हैं, लेकिन आपका भी कंट्रीब्यूशन होना चाहिए इस देश को आगे बढ़ाने में। हम मुबारकबाद देना चाहते हैं गुरिंदर जी को, दीपक सिंह जी को, क्या आपको बुलाया है, हिंदुस्तान का आईना आपके सामने पेश किया है, आप खुद आ रहे हैं, आप देख रहे हैं कि वो हिंदुस्तान नहीं है, हिंदुस्तान तरक्की कर रहा है और आगे तरक्की करना है। इस तरक्की में आपको भी जुटना है। पूरी दुनिया की नजरें जब हिंदुस्तान की तरफ है, हिंदुस्तान के बाजार की तरफ है, तो आप तो हमारे अपने भाई हैं, आप हमारे भाई हैं, आप दूसरी तरफ जा रहे हैं। हिंदुस्तान के बाजार से, हिंदुस्तान की मार्केट से आपको फायदा उठाना चाहिए ताकि हम अपना फायदा अपने लोगों के बीच रखें। ये निश्चित रूप से गवर्नमेंट ऑफ इंडिया ने बहुत सारी योजनाएं दी हैं। अभी हमारे भाई आपको हिंदुस्तान के सियासत में वोट देने का हक भी दिया गया है और हम समझते हैं कि ये हिंदुस्तान जो दुनिया की सबसे बड़ी डेमोक्रेसी है, इस डेमोक्रेसी के आप हिस्सा बनने में अपना फर्ज को अंजाम दीजिए। एक शेर कहा जाता है कि वो इज्जत उसे मिली जो वतन से निकल गया, वो फूल सर चढ़ा जो चमन से निकल गया। आज हम आपको सलाम करते हैं, सही मानों में आप वतन से निकल के वतन की इज्जत को बढ़ाने में आपने अपना इज्जत जो हासिल किया है, आपके इज्जत से वतन की इज्जत बढ़ी है। हम इसके साथ ही अपनी बात ज्यादा नहीं रखना चाहता, 2-3 बातें कह के अपनी बात खत्म कर रहे हैं। हिंदुस्तान में मनरेगा स्कीम के बारे में आपको जानते होंगे, गरीबी की बात हिंदुस्तान के बाहर जाते होंगे कि हिंदुस्तान का एक शक्ल गरीबी की बात बताता है। मीडिया और प्रेस गरीब हिंदुस्तान की तस्वीर हिंदुस्तान में पेश करता है। आपने देखा यूपीए 1 और 2 की सरकार में हिंदुस्तान में रोजगार गांव के लोगों को रोजगार मुहैया कराने के लिए गारंटी का प्रोग्राम जो दिया है, मनरेगा प्रोग्राम, जिसमें हजारों करोड़ रुपया खर्च कर रहा है ये गरीब हिंदुस्तान अपनी तस्वीर बदलने के लिए, गरीबों को ऊपर उठाने के लिए। इसी तरह राइट टू एजुकेशन की बात आज की जा रही है, हमने बिल पास किया है। राइट टू फूड की बात अभी हम बिल पास करने जा रहे हैं। इस तरह से सोशल चेंज में, गरीबी में, हम दलित भाइयों के अपलिफ्टमेंट के लिए, ओबीसी के अपलिफ्टमेंट के लिए इस सेक्टर में जिस तरह से इन्वेस्टमेंट कर रहे हैं कि हिंदुस्तान में अब वो हिंदुस्तान नहीं रहे जिस हिंदुस्तान का नक्शा देखकर आप इस मुल्क से पलायन किए थे। आज तो वो वक्त आ रहा है, वो सुनहरा हिंदुस्तान बन रहा है कि आप बाहर से आप खींचते चले आइएगा। मैं जरूर कह सकता हूं कि हिंदुस्तान में आपकी पुश्तें आज नहीं तो कल वापस आएंगे हिंदुस्तान की तरक्की में। इस बदलते हुए हिंदुस्तान, चमकते हुए हिंदुस्तान और दुनिया का शक्तिशाली हिंदुस्तान जब बनेगा तो आप भी इस हिंदुस्तान से दूर नहीं रहेंगे। इसके साथ ही हम अपनी बात खत्म करते हैं कि अब चांद और सितारों से आगे बहुत कहा जाता है, सितारों से आगे जहां और भी है, तो हम आपको कहना चाह रहे हैं आप जहां भी हैं आप हिंदुस्तान की तरफ देखिए और हिंदुस्तान की तरक्की में अपना एक योगदान दीजिए। अभी हमें एक वोट ऑफ थैंक्स का भी एक जिम्मेदारी कहा गया, लेकिन वोट ऑफ थैंक्स में बोलने की बात तो थी नहीं, आपको धन्यवाद करना था, स्टेज पर बैठे हुए लोगों को तो धन्यवाद करना था। लेकिन हम समझते हैं कि हम धन्यवाद उसी वक्त आप सब को हम धन्यवाद अपने स्टेज पर बैठे हुए आज जो 2-3 घंटे से ये जो डिसिप्लिन के साथ ये चल रहा है, ये कॉन्फ्रेंस, ये सम्मेलन जो चल रहा है, इसमें इस बात का प्रूफ है कि आपको और हमारे स्टेज पर बैठे हुए लोगों को, दोनों को इस बात की पूरी इंटरेस्ट है कि हिंदुस्तान की तरक्की में आपको किस तरह से शामिल करें और हिंदुस्तान से आपको किस तरह से वो सुविधाएं दिलाएं जिनकी बात अभी मार्केट रज्जू साहब ने की हो या किसी ने भी की हो। ये बात सही है कि हमारे अपने लोगों को ब्यूरोक्रेसी का जाल मेरे यहां ज्यादा मजबूत है। जो अंग्रेजों ने हमारे छोड़ के गए, आजाद तो हम हो गए, वो ब्यूरोक्रेसी के जाल से हम नहीं आजाद हुए हैं। अब भीष्म नारायण सिंह जी बराबर हमारे गार्जियन हैं, ये बोलते रहते हैं कि चेंज की जरूरत है, हिंदुस्तान चेंज कर रहा। हम समझते हैं कि वो ब्यूरोक्रेसी के जाल से आपको जल्द ही निजात मिलेगा और आपको जो सुविधाएं जो आपके परेशानियों का अजाला कर सके, आप आसानी से हिंदुस्तान आए। हिंदुस्तान के स्कीम को चाइना की बात करते हैं, ठीक है, चाइना की ग्रोथ हो रहा है, चाइना ने बहुत सारे, चूंकि उनके यहाँ एक डेमोक्रेसी के साथ साथ वो सर्टेन लिमिटेशन है, लेकिन हमारे यहाँ नहीं, हमारे यहाँ सर्टेन लिमिटेशन नहीं है। हर आदमी आजाद जरूर है और आजादी के साथ उसके ऊपर कोई लिमिटेशन नहीं। हर आदमी सरकार से चाहता है, लेकिन सरकार और देश को क्या दे रहा है इसको हम नहीं सोचते हैं। तो ये भावनाओं को डेवलप करने की बहुत जरूरत है। इसके साथ ही आप सब लोगों का, स्टेज पर बैठे हुए अपने अभिभावकों का हम धन्यवाद कहते हैं, आप सबको धन्यवाद कहते हैं और खास तौर पे हम अपने भाई गुरिंदर सिंह जी को, दीपक सिंह जी को, उनकी माता को धन्यवाद कहते हैं और हरभजन सिंह जी जिन्होंने संस्था बनाया, ऑर्गेनाइजेशन बनाया, ये रास्ते पर एक निकाला ये संगठन जिससे आप और हमारी दूरियां कम हो रही हैं। आज हम उनको भी खिराज अकीदत इस मौके पर पेश करते हैं कि वो हजारों साल नरगिस अपने बेनूरी पे रोती है, बड़ी मुश्किल से होता है, चमन में दीद अवर पैदा। बहुत धन्यवाद।
Thank you very much indeed, Mr. Ested Ansari, for giving us a most wonderful address, plus a vote of thanks. Well, with that, ladies and gentlemen, we come to the end of the inaugural session of the 31st International Congress of Non-Resident Indians. We request you to kindly enjoy yourselves this evening because we want to have an early night. All our distinguished delegates and awardees are requested to kindly be here by 10:30 a.m. sharp. That's 10:30 a.m. for the open house sessions. We'll have many presentations tomorrow, so do enjoy yourselves this evening, but please be back here on time for tomorrow morning sessions. Thank you very much for joining us here, and namaskar. Namaskar. Cocktails and dinner will be served in the same hall. So please be in the same hall. Thank you.
Come and fight in India. Never lose your spirits. Huh? So nice. I know it. I know it. I know it. I know it. Thank you. So nice. So nice. आइए सर आप कहाँ यार बात कर
Sir, please. Take step down, sir. Excuse me, sir, please.
अरे जी तुसी भी आओ ना आओ जल्दी आओ
Thank you.
Thank you. He is amazing. He is invited us so many times कि Botswana में conference होता है. Yeah. Fantastic. He says he will take us to the Kenyan side. Saudi Arabia
Take a step back. Come out, please come out. Good. Well, here. Get on. Thank you. Thank you. Huh? Okay. Thank you.
Very good. Thank you very much. अकेला आदमी तो कहाँ जाए लेकिन जाते
आप अशोक गहलोत जी के यहाँ पे क्या बात है हमारे बहुत
Yes, everything.
Get it, tell the lady to announce. Get it right now.
Excuse me. So please. No, please. So ma'am, you just assist me. Get here. So get it close. Flick here, please. Thank you. Step back there. Well, get it close, please. Look here. Here. Wait. Thank you. Turn on.